Hi, I'm Dan Granero, guitarist, bass player, and I'm here today to show you guys all about the latest EBS guitar effects. I originally came in checking out the EBS bass stuff as a bass player. I love the EBS products, and I thought, okay, well, I'm going to come and have a look at some bass stuff, and stumbled across the guitar range. And I can tell you this, from the first time I plugged into it, I was hooked, and I realized how versatile these pedals really are. So I'm going to go into each pedal in a moment, and I hope you enjoy. I'm running the MultiComp just on a tube setting, tube simulation. Just a subtle compression, gain quite low, so you can hear basically from the solo sound to, so it's just straight, no compress, and then with a little bit of compression. Just fattens the signal just that little bit. So with the Black Haze, on the middle setting, you have three settings: thin, the middle, and then the deep. So it's in the middle setting at the moment, which will replicate kind of like a British tube kind of sound to my ears. I can hear that kind of sound. And I generally run the tone kind of in the middle, the drive just down a little bit, and the volume just to suit the clean signal versus the overdriven. So it's just that little bit. So anyway, I'll play a little bit. Neck pickup is just a Stratocaster with Texas Special pickups. So anyway, I'll play something for you. And then that's like a straight kind of rhythm crunch sound that I tend to use a lot. And again, what I do is I run that as kind of my main sound. What I find, it's worked so well at all volumes, and I'm running just a straight Deluxe Reverb amp here with volumes on like 2.5, which means I can get those pushed sounds that you can't normally get in a venue. Of course, there's a lot of complaints from people and neighbors and so forth. What I find with the Black Haze pedal, using it as kind of like a preamp, it works really, really well with any type of amplifier. And it also cleans up quite well too. So by using the same settings on the Black Haze that you heard before, I can actually clean up the sounds. So if I'm going to play something a little bit more delicate, or same sort of funk, and then I can clean it up, and I'll show you what I mean. It really cleans up nicely. And the same if you're playing something a bit more. That's the volume on about half on the guitar. And it still has that warmth. So that's one thing that I'm most impressed with the Black Haze. Because it's such a versatile pedal. I can go anywhere with it. I can have my main kind of crunch, blues rock tones, and clean it right up and play almost completely clean, but with that little bit of warmth, that little bit of character in there. So, of course, the Black Haze is capable of far higher gain settings again. So what I'm showing you is, I guess, my perspective of how I use the pedals, because I've basically used all these pedals in my guitar rig now. So I got so hooked and impressed with what I could do with it, and I've never been one to love compression on guitars, but this MultiComp's got to be one of the best compressors I've ever heard in all my 26, 27 years of playing guitar and bass. I've been so impressed with the way it works and how it doesn't color the guitar sound. So depending on what guitar you use, it still keeps the guitar's character, but gives you something that adds that warmth, and that it does the same thing with the bass stuff. I mean, EBS is fantastic for its EBS sound. Same thing with the guitar, and it retains the character of the instrument. So you're not coloring the guitar, you're not trying to make this sound like anything other than what it is. At the same settings using a different guitar achieve far greater range, and that's what I find, that when I go to shows, I can run the same settings, just switch guitars and have completely different tones available at my fingertips. Like, it's literally that easy. Another thing I like to do is I use pedals in conjunction with each other. So having said that I'm using the Black Haze on the middle setting as my main drive sound, I can also further push it, for example, like with the Drive Me Crazy or the Drive. So using these in a boost situation rather than on their own for their own sound. And they work rather well together. So if I'm playing something more like I have my crunch sound, I go to do a guitar solo, for example, about 85% of the time in my shows, I'm using the Drive with the Black Haze. And the compressor is on before everything at the moment. I know there's no real golden rule for using compressors before or after. It's totally up to your preference. Some people like it after, some people like it before. I've experimented with both, and I find that I feed the pedals with the fattest signal possible. And it's still, as I said, these pedals don't color the guitar. They allow the guitar to sound like the guitar you're using. So when you're using it together, it's just giving a fatter signal, a warmer signal, and especially with single coil pickup guitars that can be really, really bright. It just takes off some of those frequencies, but just retains the character of the instrument. So for example, if I use the Black Haze for my rhythm sound, and then I switch over for guitar solo sound, I will add the Drive, and it's just got a little bit of drive there, just a little bit, and the volume's up because I'm using it as a boost, so in a band setting, and the tone just a little bit higher there, just to cut through the frequencies on the Black Haze. So you'll see what I mean. I'll run just a little bit first on the Black Haze, and then we'll go to the Drive. If I'm playing something heavier again, something a little bit more like the real heavy blues, then I'll switch to something like using the Drive Me Crazy. Now what I do with this is similar settings again to the Drive, but I have it on the thin setting because this pedal's quite a beast. And I'll show you, obviously there's videos on this as well that we have that will show you the different settings of the pedal, but on this particular one, using it in conjunction, again, the Black Haze has not changed. So I'm just going to use the Drive Me Crazy now as my solo boost. So I'll do a similar thing again, and this time I'll use the Drive Me Crazy as the boost. And you'll see what I mean, how much of a lift you can really, really pull out of this. So, yeah, I guess you can cut it there, I guess, wherever. I'm just